Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It is Rome here in the city of Houston, and this is my first live on YouTube. So take it easy on me. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day so far, and you got your first, second, or third cup of coffee already. So this live will be an attempt to determine exactly how I want to do these lives going forward. My goal is to do these lives no different than I would do a normal how-to video. And what I mean by that is, in many cases, the lives will be no longer than the length of one of my how-to videos. So what I want to be able to do here is to show you guys certain techniques and certain skills that I may have acquired over the years, and do it in a format where you'll get all that information within 10, 15 minutes, something along the lines of that. All right, so let's get right to it. So this morning, I'm going to start off with an image that I downloaded from Pixel. And I am today going to be using my iPad starting out with something like this. The first things you want to do, just like any other type of photo that you would edit, is to look at the image itself and determine exactly what it is you want to do on that image. So usually I start off with just surveying the image, and I zoom in and I look for any imperfections. Like I see a few things here in the water I would correct. I don't really see a lot that this photo really needs. There's no flyaway hairs because her hair is wet. There's a little bit of water on her cheek and on her chin, but that's to be expected. I mean, she's in water, so what can we do with this image? Well, we can still go in and touch up a few little things, like around the eyelids. We can do a little bit of cleanup around the lips, things like that. But for the most part, this is a wonderful image, that was captured. So I would just start off, let's open up our layer panel, and I would just duplicate this layer, Command J on the Mac, and get my spot healing brush. And then from there, I would just start to do whatever little touch-ups I'm going to do at that point. So like I said, the things that I see here, like in the water, those things are going to be relatively easy to take care of. Just take your spot healing brush and just go over those really lightly, sort of in a direction that you see the water flowing or something like that, whatever the texture is, so that you don't create any hard patterns. And you don't have to do every one of these. It's just the ones that stand out the most, that if this was something printed and was displayed on a gallery wall or something like that, would someone take notice of it? And if that's the case, I would generally say take it out. Now, when you're working with models or clients, the rule of thumb has always been don't remove anything that would normally be considered to be a part of that person. For instance, like a mole or a definite scar, something like that. So you want those things to definitely be there. Now, you can still go in and soften those things to some degree without having to totally remove them. But you'll see just like little things here, right there on the hair. A couple of things around the eyes I would try, but I mean, we can get some of this with, our dodging and burning when we get to that phase. But I do see some discoloration on the teeth, and that's from the lipstick. We can try to fix that, but I don't think that's a must do. And I do see, because of the makeup and the water, you're seeing a little bit of, abnormal look to the skin texture, but I don't think it's a big deal. Depending on how large this image would be printed, that's not going to be a big, deal. So next thing I would do here is just go ahead and run my frequency separation, determine at this point how much of this I want to be in focus. So I usually use this little picker so I can get an idea of the amount of texture. And I just want to blur this with the Gaussian blur just till I get to a point where I can no longer see the details. I'll say that's good. And then the next step would be from my high layer, I'm going to create a helper layer. So I'm just going to go down here and choose a black and white layer. And then I'm going to crush the blacks all the way down so I can really see the different textures. What you're looking for is the transition from shadow to midtone to highlight. That's what you're looking for in this image. So then at this point, we could turn off the texture layer. Then we're going to go down to our color layer, and we're going to grab our mixer brush. And about this point, we'll start to determine how large we want the mixer brush to be. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the iPad to do most of my mixing. So let me switch over so you guys can see the iPad. scenes. But you can then go in, what I do a lot of times, I mean, I can speed up the workflow as best I can. So if I'm looking at this image and I'm, trying to determine what I want it to look like, for my final image, I have a couple of options. One of the options I have, if you guys are familiar with some of the panels that I've shown you before, is I have something like infinity color. So I can use that to kind of randomize and determine if I want to use one of these colors as my, final color grade. And the way this panel works is you just basically click on this big button where it says create. But before you click on the button, what you want to determine is if you want this to be high, medium, or intense when it comes to how it's going to evaluate the image and then create a look for your image. Now, of course, you also have the option of using LUTs. You have numerous options when it comes to color grading, including and not limited to some of the MVP panels that do basically the same thing. So we're just going to click on this and let it generate a couple of times and see. Now I like that. I like the richness of this one. And then from there, you can still go in and you could adjust your levels. You can go in and adjust the lookup. So all of the things that you would normally be able to do if you were doing these individually, what this panel has done is just basically given you all of those things, in one click. So if we turn this off, that's before and that's after. Now, I think it may be just a little bit too dark, so I could just go here and lower the opacity a little bit. So say I bring that down to maybe about 60%. And that's before, and that's after. And you can see even in the water reflection, it looks a lot better. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like that. So, let's see it full. Yeah, that works. All right, so that would be a really quick, simple way to edit one of these images and get it ready, to present, to deliver to your client. Good morning, Russell. How are you? So, this is going to be one of the fastest ways, I think, to go through your basic steps. So we started off with nothing more than our cleanup. Then from there, we did our frequency separation. The next step was to create a stamp layer. And then the final step at this point was to create a look. Now, of course, you can still go in and do additional things, before you get to your final look. So if you wanted to go in and whiten the teeth, or if, eyes were visible, if you wanted to do something like that, you could do that. Another thing that you could do here is you could still do some dodging and burning. So we could still say, okay, Command Option, Command E, we're going to create another stamp layer. And then I use my own little dodge and burn actions that I run. And I just run these. It just gives me 2 layers. One is going to be for dodge, one is going to be for burn, and all they really are is just simple layers where I've adjusted the into the shadows and the highlights. So simply enough with just the dodge and burn layer, I could say, well, okay, I want to burn, certain areas like around the eyelids or something like that. I just pick a normal size brush and I could just draw what I want. Say I want just this to be a little bit darker. I know it's going to look weird when I first do it, but you'll get the idea. And while I'm doing this, I may just go ahead and just draw around the lips. And I'm using my fingers this time, guys, so it might be a little imprecise, but you'll get the idea. So you say, okay, well, that looks weird, Rome. Why would you do that? But then once you adjust your feather, you start to see. So that's right about 49. And then if I go to my dodge, then I could draw I'm just kind of drawing things just to give it kind of like a highlight look. So I'm going to draw here on the lips. Every place that I see light areas, I'm just drawing on those. I'm not focused too much on the face, maybe here on the bridge of the nose. And you can always use a larger brush. I'm just using this as an example because it's easier for you guys to see it on YouTube because of the simplicity of the lines. So again, we're just going to adjust the feather. We're going to get it right where it starts to pop. So about there. And then if we turn these off and then back on, you see a dramatic change. But like all the other layers, all the other folders, you can still go in and adjust the opacity to get that final look. What's going on in your world today, Russell? And then there you go. Now you can also do, say you like this, but then maybe you want to do some special effects. You can add lighting, you can add, different colors. Very popular is always going to be a lot of things that you guys already see on Instagram, because a lot of people are using those Instagram colors and LUTs. And you can find a ton of these all over the internet. They're everywhere. I have, I think, about 10 of them that are just different Instagram style filters that are actions. So I could pick one of these and it's going to give me that Instagram look. But then I can still go in here and adjust, my color picker. If I want this to be a little bit warmer, or if I wanted it to be colder, I could go in the opposite direction. Or I could just say, okay, yeah, that was cute, but I'm not a fan of that, no problem. Just delete the whole folder. Or you could, deselect it and then pick something different. That gives it a really strong kind of greenish hue. I'm not a fan of that. But we could go in and we could adjust that because you see it's here in the green. So maybe you wanted it to be more blue, so you would adjust that into the blue. Maybe about there. And then the bottom one, you're going to have to do the same thing. Let's put it maybe so it's easier to see on YouTube. And it gives you a different look. But still, I'm not a fan of that one at all. And that might be great for, like a night scene or something like that if you want to add those colors. Let's try number 7 and see what we get. Now, see, that's not bad because it emphasizes the blue. So it makes the blue pop. And it also helps with your highlights. I like that. So yeah. And then again, like I said, any other time you can bring the opacity down some. I'm going to bring it down to about 50%. And call that a day. Yeah, I like that. So let's go over everything really quick. So all the way from our background, you want to look at everything, just hit your option button, click on that. It's going to show you your original image. Click on it again, it'll bring everything back that's above it. Or you could just go through and deselect each individual eyeball here and turn things on and off. So like if I want to turn off the infinity color, I could turn that off. And it's going to show me what's there. But remember, we've created stamp layers. So pretty much anything we, change down here, this main stamp layer is going to have all the information from everything that's below it. So, you would have to turn that off as well to be able to see whatever is below it because everything, like I said, below is already on that stamp layer. So hopefully, you guys are getting some benefit from these lives. This is the first time I've gone live on YouTube. And I think this will be something that I'll start doing in the future more often. I'm still working out different software that I'm using to go live. Right now I'm using Streamlabs OBS for Mac. And, excuse me, and it seems to be working pretty well. It's still a few things I have to learn because I'm used to using the normal OBS, which has different features. But I think this is going to be a better solution for YouTube. So I may go live again later tonight. If I decide to, I will post it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start using YouTube and Facebook as my main platforms for going live. I will repost everything that I create on Instagram for IGTV, so you guys will be able to see it there, as well as I'll probably produce a very shorter, much shorter edited version of this content so that it's more consumable. Because right now we're at about 30 minutes in just this one demonstration, and I want to keep these under maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, and just stick to the highlights. But that will be in the edited version of it. But if you guys want to, hang out with me live and chat and ask questions, you're more than welcome to. I got to get a lot better at posting these upcoming events, much, much further into the future so that you guys will be able to follow. But until then, guys, I want you to take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Look forward to seeing from me real soon what we're going to be doing next. So take care of yourselves, wash your hands, take care of your loved ones, and create something amazing, guys. I will see you guys in the next live.